Welcome, fellow humans. Before you get started on my series on logic games, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. I've always been struck by how unlogical a lot of logic instruction really is. I don't mean it's bad, I just mean that it's often not as direct as we might like it to be, and that makes sense. Logic is hard, it's very complex. But remember, logic begins the same way everything begins, with basics and fundamentals that for the most part are relatively easy to master because they're intuitive to the ways you already think. On the LSAT, the logic games portion never goes beyond those basic fundamentals. This means that only a small set of logical principles are being used in the logic games section, and you can master those quickly and be ready for what you face on that section of the test. So I begin this series on logic games with a short mini-series called All the Logic Needed for Logic Games. I'm covering there only the specific logical principles that you need for that section of the test. This is not, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not all the logic you need, period. This is just a quick guide to the logic you need for the logic games portion of the LSAT called analytical reasoning. The way these are organized is that first I provide you with a quick guide that you can simply memorize, and memorizing that will always make you accurate in applying these principles on logic games. And then after that, I give a longer explanation of the reasoning behind that quick guide so that you can understand why I do things the way that I do. Also, on my website, I've collected these strategies into a simple quick guide that you can look at as a document and just memorize on your own if you haven't already. After this mini-series on all the logic needed for logic games, I just go step by step through every part of logic games. We talk about diagramming, we talk about concepts, we talk about questions, we talk about how to find inferences. All of that is covered in an intuitive step-by-step process. This is the same learning approach that I use with my students, that I use with my clients, and even if you find it a little unusual, you've got to trust me on this one. Now, the videos and games are interactive. I'm not just interested in providing you with the solution to the logic game or the solution to how to diagram something. I'm interested in teaching you how to do that yourself in every situation. So many times in these videos, I'm going to stop, I'm going to ask you to do something, I'm going to ask you to compare your own work to mine, I'm going to ask you questions. This is all designed to improve your ability to see that logic game, diagnose what's going on, and handle it correctly. In addition, I have exercises, I have practices, and other things that are available on my website that are connected to these videos to help you improve your performance. In addition, I have a set of drills that you can engage in and work on. Those drills can be adapted to different things, but they're drills that I've designed specifically to help you improve different aspects of your logic games. I've also given them fun names so they're easy to remember. Now, I don't like to teach concepts abstractly. I like to teach them in the practical context in which you're going to find them. What this means is that you're going to learn these concepts by looking at specific logic games that I've selected to demonstrate these concepts. I don't believe in abstract instruction that you're just somehow supposed to know how to apply to a logic game. I want to look at a logic game, bring out the concepts that you should be thinking about in that sort of logic game, and show you how to identify that in other logic games. So just as I do with my clients, I'm going to show you logic games that demonstrate concepts, and I'm going to group those concepts together with flexibility and adaptability to the ways that you individually work. So sometimes I might diverge into a side discussion about a certain game or a certain concept in the middle of a game. I might want to explain an idea that's come up in that game. But the goal here is to link the information I want to share in a practical context of solving logic games. Because if that concept does not help you improve, it's not worth learning. And if that concept can't be demonstrated in helping you improve your logic games, it's not worth teaching. So I work in a way that's called casuistic, meaning I go case by case. I'm not going to teach you a bunch of concepts and then try to apply them. We're going to work games, and we're going to look at how those concepts arise organically in those games. One of the reasons this really helps is that then when you encounter another similar game, those concepts are going to come to mind. You're not going to have to think to yourself, wait, this type of game, what type of concept do I apply to this game? How should I be looking? It's just going to arise naturally. And the best part is you'll be able to adapt it to your own skills, your own strengths, the ways that you work and how you figure things out. All right, so let's get started and keep watching.